A very good evening to my Indian participants who have joined, and a very good morning to all the US participants who have kind of woken up a little early to join our webinar. I would like to begin by extending a very special and warm welcome to our esteemed speakers who are here today and who would be sharing their valuable insights on two of the most important, relevant, and significant topic of science in the present context. That is quantum technologies and artificial intelligence. We are delighted to have with us Dr. S.K. Varshney, Advisor and Head, International Cooperation Division, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. He's also our Indian Iusstf co-chair. Sir, will you be able to come online? You're there? Perfect, thank you. Along with him, we also have Mr. Drew Skufletowski, Minister, Counselor for Energy, Environment, Science and Technology Affairs, US Embassy, New Delhi. He happens to be our US Iusstf co-chair. Welcome, sir. We have, along with him, we have Dr. Kathleen Stevens, Foreign Affairs Officer, Office of Science and Technology Cooperation, Bureau of Ocean and International Environment and Science Affairs, US Department of State. Along with them, we have two of our experts, very renowned scientists, Professor Urvashi Sinha, Professor Light and Matter Physics, Raman Research Institute, and from the industry, we have Mr. L.V. Subramanian, STSM and Senior Manager, AI Science, IBM Research India. Thank you very much for gracing this occasion, and I welcome you. Before officially, giving this to the speakers, I'll just take 2 minutes to kind of give a brief overview of the organization I am from. I am from the Indo-US Science and Technology Forum. We are an autonomous bilateral organization established under an agreement between the Government of India and the United States of America, and we were established in March 2000. We are jointly funded by both the governments. Our mandate is simple but very emphatic. It is to act as a catalyst to promote long-term scientific collaboration between the scientific communities of both the countries. How do we do this? Simply by establishing platforms and mechanisms that can bring together individual scientists or the scientific institutions of both the countries to partner and form a sustainable partnership. In the last 23 years, IUSSTF has long been leading programs in the areas of emerging and disruptive technologies. Our program portfolio includes supporting and implementing various verticals, such as the scientific networking, innovation and entrepreneurship, research and development, and capacity building. We also do some strategic initiative like the US-India Artificial Intelligence Initiative. You can visit our website to know more about all these programs. Now, as you may all be aware, IUSSTF has recently announced a call for proposal on critical and emerging technologies, on quantum technologies and artificial intelligence for transforming life. The call has been launched under the US-India Science and Technology Endowment Fund. This is a flagship program of IUSSTF. The overview of this will be given by my colleague, Dr. Babulal, in the later half of this particular webinar. So once again, I would again like to begin by thanking you all. And I would be, moving to my co-chair, Dr. Sanjeev Varshney, to kindly give the opening remark and speak about the landscape of the Indian AI and quantum.
Thank you, Chitali. My dear friend Drew, our speakers, Urvashi and Subramaniam, all the participants. First of all, my namaskars, greetings, good morning, good evening, depending upon your locations. What a day it has been. We, India and US, are working together in a lot of critical and emerging technology area. And today we concluded yet another agreement, what we call implementation arrangements, in the field of biotechnology. So both, rather three of us, Drew, Chetali and I are coming straight from there and joining for this meeting. And it emphasizes how two largest democracies are looking for collaboration in the emerging area. And as Chetali has asked me to say something on the Indian scene. So, well, the race for emerging technologies, critical technologies on, India joins rest of the world in unfolding the realm of quantum science and technology as well as artificial intelligence. It is well established that quantum technology have the potential to provide information processing capabilities much beyond the limit of classical technologies. We are looking for groundbreaking translational research leading to technologies and applications as marketable products, generating highly qualified skilled manpower, nurturing state-of-the-art technologies in order to promote startups and attract best talent and dynamic businesses to the field. I hope this audience is aware that Government of India has approved National Quantum Mission, roughly at a cost of 750 million US dollar in Indian rupees, spread over a period of 8 years, aiming to see, nurture, and scale up scientific and industrial research and development, and to create a vibrant and innovative ecosystem in quantum technology. Hope this will accelerate quantum technology-led economic growth, nurture the ecosystem in the country, and make India one of the leading nations in the development of quantum technology applications. Under this program, we have identified 4 thematic technology verticals, which deals with quantum computing, quantum communications, quantum sensing and metrology, quantum materials and devices. This program, Quantum Technology Missions, also look for potential area of collaboration in technology enablement, co-development and commercialization, joint research projects, testing, certification, and international standard setting, as well as capacity building and training. As far as other part is concerned, artificial intelligence, DST is implementing another mission, which is called National Mission on Interdisciplinary Cyber Physical System. As a part of this mission, 35 innovative joint research projects have been funded by NSF and supported on the Indian side by DST. And these projects are being implemented in 6 hubs of ICPS to encourage closer ties between the government, academia, and industry of both countries. And these hubs are in the area of robotics, in the area of data analytics and predictive technologies, in the area of Internet of Things and its applications, in the area of computer vision, augmented reality, and virtual reality. Also in the area of sensors, networking, actuators, control system, and also big data analytics and data curations. Friends, our country offers plenty of opportunities in both areas, which the Indo-US Forum, through Endowment Fund, has invited for joint collaborations in area of quantum technology as well as in area of artificial intelligence. India is in path of transformation, a phenomena which we talk and experience in all level of engagement. As you are aware, we are currently holding the presidency of G20. It demonstrates India's leadership in many sectors and our commitment to work towards an environment for collective global good. I am glad that under the able leadership of our Honorable Minister, which has given us confidence and guidance to quickly respond and frame science and technology framework for a joint call for proposal under the US-India Science and Technology Endowment Fund. This special call on critical and emerging technology, quantum technology, and artificial intelligence for transforming lives, as you may agree, is embedded with many significant attributes, ranging from living to material world. The quantum call for proposal could be on a specific area or a combination of different subcategories that fall broadly under quantum technology, like quantum computing, communication, sensing, metrology, cryptography, algorithm, imaging, simulations involving both hardware, software, or system for specific applications. The AI call is open for trustworthy and explainable AI systems, technology solutions that are fair, transparent, safe, and have the potential to transform every walk of life. I hope this call will give us good proposals that come forward in PPP mode and brings new confidence in our industry to work together and work not only for Indian or American good, but for global good. So with those words, I would like to close and thank you. And over to you, Chitali.
Thank you very much, sir. This was very helpful. I'm sure all our participants will have a very good idea of where India is standing right now and what all DST is involved and what are the collaborative projects and activities that we are doing. With this, next I would invite Mr. Drew Skaviltowski to please share his opening remarks.
Certainly. Thank you, Chaitali, and thank you also, Sanjeev, for those incisive comments. I'm honored to represent the United States government among this esteemed cohort of science and technology and policy professionals. Let me first congratulate and thank both of our governments and the Indo-US Science and Technology Forum for taking forward the vision of President Biden and Prime Minister Modi on joint critical and emerging technology development. Last year in Tokyo, as we know, President Biden and Prime Minister Modi framed an ambitious ISET vision. They envisioned a US-India technology partnership that would connect us, that would protect us, and that would detect unseen threats that could do us harm, from the tiniest bacteria to massive cyberspace intrusions. They imagined working together as democracies to build an open, accessible, and secure technology ecosystem for collaboration and innovation on tomorrow's leading technology, space, quantum computing, artificial intelligence, and advanced wireless communications. In January, the US and Indian national security advisors launched ISET in Washington, D.C., and discussed opportunities for greater cooperation in critical and emerging technologies, co-development and co-production, and ways to deepen connectivity across our innovation ecosystems. Through ISET, the United States and India affirm that the ways in which technology is designed, developed, governed, and used should be shaped by our shared democratic values and respect for universal human rights. Our countries have a long history of working miracles through technology, innovation, and economic empowerment. Now the time has come to engage on critical emerging technology to set the stage for what I believe are going to be the miracles of tomorrow. Let me tell you why the Endowment Fund is such an excellent vehicle to help realize those miracles. The Endowment Fund has a proven track record as one of our strongest bilateral innovation programs. It stands out for its success in identifying impactful ideas and winning teams and helping them reach the marketplace. And that's what it's all about, of course. The endowment has supported about 60 joint projects, of which over 30 have grown into full commercial ventures. Technologies and products supported by the Endowment Fund have made global impact with applications that help farmers secure better prices for their farm products, provide mobility to individuals with disabilities, and offer affordable and effective healthcare solutions, including for COVID-19. The endowment's recent support for joint technology-based energy solutions will help expand the bilateral ecosystem on clean energy research. And as we look ahead, the Endowment Fund will foster linkages between US and Indian AI and quantum innovation ecosystems, innovators and entrepreneurs to develop technologies that not only will further our bilateral priorities, but will define the future of technology and its impact globally. The Endowment Fund has few peers in the United States or India, as it infuses seed money into high technology startups. It helps bridge culture gaps and the challenges of distance and bureaucracy to support partnerships between American and Indian innovators. I feel confident that the Endowment Fund will continue to identify strong US and Indian partners with innovative technologies, help them commercialize these in the US, India, and third countries, and promote US and Indian innovators, entrepreneurs, and their best practices. Thank you.
Thank you, Drew. Thanks a lot. It was really nice on your part to tell everybody, all our participants, the essence of the fund, the vision and the expectations of the fund. I'm sure the participants who are planning to apply for these call will surely keep them in mind while they are writing all their proposals too. With this, I would like to invite Dr. Kathleen Stevens now. She's going to speak about US priorities, their perspective, opportunities, and partnerships in quantum and AI. Kathleen, over to you.
Thank you, Chitali, and good afternoon, good evening to my colleagues in India. Good morning to colleagues here in the United States. It's really a pleasure to join you from Washington, D.C. today to highlight some of our top priorities in quantum and artificial intelligence. But I would be remiss to not mention the importance of our critical and strategic partnership with India. I was pleased to join at the White House when President Biden and Prime Minister Modi met in June and see the wonderful partnership between our two countries. Together, they reaffirmed a shared vision for our US and India as close partners. And it's a partnership built on democracies looking into the 21st century with hope, ambition, and confidence. Our cooperation together will serve the global good, and it's embedded in technology. In January 2023, our national security advisors met at the inaugural meeting of the US-India Initiative on Critical and Emerging Technologies, as both Drew and Varshini noted. This marked a critical milestone in the US-India relationship on technology. And as others have noted, the bilateral science and technology commitments include several implementation agreements between the US National Science Foundation and ministries in the government of India, including today, the recent signing of the Department of Biotechnology implementation arrangement. Varshini noted the importance of these implementation arrangements in streamlining selection and funding processes for research projects from scientists and engineers from the US and India. Indeed, our S&T relationship between the United States and India has never been stronger. So I'll now pivot to some of our US priorities in artificial intelligence and quantum. Artificial intelligence, as we all know, has advanced tremendously, and today promises personalized healthcare, enhanced national security, improved transportation, advanced computing potential, and more. AI is also one of the most powerful technologies of our time, and the choices we make in the coming years about advancing and using AI will have important consequences for civil rights, civil liberties, safety and security, jobs, the economy, and our shared democratic values. Increased computing power, the availability of large data sets, and streamlining data and algorithmic advances in machine learning have made it possible for AI research and development to create new sectors of the economy and revitalize industries. In May, the White House released the latest U.S. artificial intelligence research and development strategy. Among our top priorities, the United States is prioritizing investments in the next generation of AI that will drive discovery and insight, seeking to develop effective methods for human AI collaboration, seeking to understand and address the ethical, legal, and societal implications of AI, and ensuring the safety and security of AI systems, developing and enabling access to high-quality data sets and environments, as well as testing and training resources, and expanding public-private partnerships to accelerate advances in artificial intelligence. On quantum, we're also taking a science-first approach that prioritizes a strong investment in basic research needed to enable major technology breakthroughs. The United States has launched a number of quantum centers and institutes, including those supported by the National Science Foundation, the Department of Energy, and the Department of Defense, that play a key role in building quantum community, developing the workforce, and furthering science. As the quantum discovery space grows, the private sector is also investing in as yet nascent but potentially transformative quantum technologies. Our goal is to nurture this growing technology ecosystem, including to fund early discovery, support the necessary talent base, and build the supply chains to make future economically useful quantum technologies a reality. The Quantum Economic Development Consortium, an industry-led consortia launched by the National Institute of Standards and Technology within the U.S. Department of Commerce, has a key role to play here by growing the quantum industry and identifying supply chains. Given the global nature of quantum, this includes both domestic and international engagements, including with key partners like India. We anticipate a lot of exciting and important scientific advances across the quantum landscape, but we realize that many of these advances will take years and even decades to be realized. As things progress from scientific insight to technologies to economic advantages, we must ensure a robust workforce for this work. This is a broad time horizon in quantum, so we're thinking now about ways to support and develop faculty and graduate students, as well as undergraduates and high school talents. Let's see. Now, I'm pleased to report that in May, under ISET, we launched the inaugural Indo-US bilateral dialogue on quantum information science and technology. We applaud the release of India's national quantum strategy, and we are pleased that this private sector consortia, an industry-led consortia, QEDC, welcomed participation from Indian companies and researchers in June of this year. Quantum technology and artificial intelligence are critical to advancing discovery, including at the convergence with other technologies like biotechnology. Together, they will be critical to tackling global challenges related to health, food security, combating climate change, improving environmental outcomes, to name a few. Together, the United States and India will build an even stronger partnership that will advance the aspirations of our people for a bright and prosperous future, grounded in technology, but also respect for human rights, shared principles of democracy, freedom, and the rule of law. We welcome the announcement of the US Iusstf's $2 million call for proposals on collaborative research development in quantum and artificial intelligence. And I look forward to hearing more today from esteemed colleagues about opportunities to better foster Indo-US collaborations in artificial intelligence and quantum, from research and development as basic building blocks to early scale up and bringing new technologies to market. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak. Back to you, Chitali.
Thank you. Thank you, Kathleen. It was very, very helpful. It was really nice to know about this entire landscape that AI and quantum has in US. And it's also highly motivating. I'm sure the quantum community who have joined here today will be very excited to know that a lot of it is coming up to. So bringing it to the next, one of my expert who is really my personal favorite too, because she's not only a good expert, but she's a good scientist, an excellent scientist, but she's an excellent orator too. Very specialized with quantum. So I'm sure she would love to speak about what all are the opportunities, what is happening in India, and how we can collaborate with the US as well. Over to you, Professor Urvashi.
After all that, I sincerely hope it was me, right? Yeah. So, thanks a lot, Choitali and Divya and all the others for this very kind invitation. Can you hear me well, or is this better? Yeah.
Perfect.
So Choitali actually gave me the title of my talk. And so, but then she gave me the freedom to talk as per my, wish and desire. And that could be good or bad. So we will see how that works. So the title of my talk is Indo-US Collaboration, Shaping the Future of Quantum Ecosystem for Innovation to Commercialization. So as mentioned, I'm Urvashi Sinha. I'm a professor at the Raman Research Institute in Bangalore. And I also have a lot of affiliate positions, particularly in Canada. And I'm a governing board member of QETCI. So what I'm going to do over the next few minutes is essentially, so we are discussing Indo-US possibilities in quantum. So what I'm going to do is going to, again, highlight a little bit of how the US is, has different sort of mechanisms to enable quantum. Already we heard Kathleen and Drew talk about that, but then this is a little different because I'll talk about actual programs that they have started and how that may bring in some, elements of inspiration for our national quantum mission as well. I'll talk about the strengths that we have individually as countries in quantum, and then talk about how we can, do things together towards the greater good. So that is the framework, and I'll also give a few specific examples in quantum technologies where we could benefit from such collaboration. Okay, so quantum R&D in USA, this is the funding landscape, and I borrowed this slide from my colleague in the University of Arizona, who's heading the Center for Quantum Networks. So, so one is the agencies. So as you know, these agencies, they each have a mission and they're different way of funding projects. So we have the Department of Defense. So under that, we have DARPA, we have Army, Navy, Air Force, and so they have their own way of funding. Then we have NASA with its various centers and headquarters, again, very interested in quantum. Department of Energy, the National Institute of Science and Technology, which does its own thing and has its own mechanism for funding. And then, of course, the NSF, which actually is one of the key, agencies which is doing a lot in, coming up with new ideas and programs in quantum, and then others, right? And so similarly, we have companies in the US. And so these are the commercial ones. Then there are the defense ones, as you can see. And they actually fund universities through different programs, or they partner with DARPA and IARPA on their proposals. And this is something actually which we don't yet have a lot in India. So this is something which I'm hoping Venkat is listening, but then there are others who should get inspired to actually partner with research organizations towards building things which can be taken to the market. So company funding part is not as active in India as it is in the US. So they have a three-pronged strategy, which is education, development, research, and innovation. So all these programs, they seem to have equal emphasis being given to these three pillars, I would say. That is developing, the know-how among various groups of people so that developments can happen. Then, of course, the R&D, and then going on to the innovation and commercialization aspect. So this is very interesting because it is important to note that our National Quantum Mission draft project report also highlights a similar three-pronged strategy. So having written a large part of this DPR, I can safely say that we have chapters on all three aspects in this DPR, which is a very long document, but then I think useful one. And so this is already telling you that synergies already exist in our thought processes. So the US has come up with this, of course, independently, and we have come up with this independently, but we do seem to have emphasis on similar things, right? Which is a good start, I would say. But then what else should be done, to ensure that Indo-US collaborations in quantum technologies actually lead to the development of a holistic ecosystem where whole is more than the sum of parts. And whole is more than the sum of parts is my favorite, line, because that is how we define entanglement. In entanglement, two systems have a correlation where the whole is more than what they would achieve individually. So this is what we would like to do in an Indo-US collaboration as well. Just synergy in thought process may not be enough, so we need to do something more. So what I am going to say is that, one thing we could do is examine our individual strengths and then combine them towards the greater good. And so I will give you a little example of how I think. And as I was said, I was given a free rein. So this is my thought process, and hopefully there's a lot of synergy with the NQM document as well, which I participated in. So what are the Indian strengths in quantum? Okay, so Sanjeev Varshni, of course, gave a very nice overview of various programs that we have and so on and so forth. I would actually say what have we derived from these various programs that Dr. Varshni actually mentioned. So first of all, we have availability of young energetic PIs. I'm an energetic PI, the young part is debatable, but then, we are all working in different work packages, right? Necessary for various quantum technologies, primarily quantum communications, quantum computing, as well as quantum sensing and imaging. And so we are specially enabled by DST's Quantum Enabled Science and Technology program, which started around, 3 years back. Okay, so this actually led to 51 different projects being funded, and many of them experimental. So many of the labs actually started based on this program. So this is like a precursor to our National Quantum Mission. So National Quantum Mission is not our first initiative. The DST already started this on a smaller scale a few years back. We have students in different levels of education who are excited by the prospect of contributing to quantum technologies. It's always very useful. Otherwise, who will do the work, right? I give the talk, my students are in the lab. So this is how we know it, and so that's good. So we also have a know-how, a lot of know-how that we have gained already. It's not like it's new for us. So ongoing projects on specific quantum tech verticals, we have a lot of know-how. We also have a very strong theoretical base in India. This is much, much older than all these strategies and initiatives. We actually have probably a stronger theoretical base in India than even, I would say, the United States. I think there it's more technology focused. We have a lot of theory work that has been happening for decades. And then we have our own agencies, like the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, the Department of Telecommunications, Defense Research Development Organization, Indian Space Research Organization. They have all funded projects in this domain. And all these agencies are expected to contribute along with the DST towards the NQM objectives. So this is our, these are our already existing strengths, I would say, in quantum technologies. So now US trends. So first of all, it has the earlier established National Quantum Initiative, right? So some of the funding strategies that they have employed can serve as a source of inspiration to develop India-specific strategies in the National Quantum Mission. For instance, one of my favorites is this engineering research centers that the NSF has. This is from their website. The NSF Engineering Research Center, you can see this sort of is exactly what we would like to do. So we want to, support convergent research, education and technology translation at US universities that will lead to strong societal impacts. Each ERC has interacting foundational components, right? So that is the first part that go beyond the research project, including engineering workforce development at all participant stages, a culture of diversity and inclusion where all participants gain mutual benefit, and value creation within an innovation ecosystem that will outlast the lifetime of the ERC. This is very interesting because, these are fixed term programs that they have. And then, of course, I guess, with some option for renewal for the ones which are doing very well and so on. So these sort of, centers of excellence kind of idea is something we can also adopt from already the successful ones that are there in the United States. Likewise, there is this upcoming NSF National Quantum Virtual Lab, okay, NQVL. Now, what is very interesting about this is there's also a unique concept of a well-funded pilot phase, okay, followed by a full-blown proposal. So usually what we tend to have is call for proposals and then, that leads to things. But then if there is also a pilot phase, which is also somewhat funded, that will set the base and then one could go to the next stage depending on how the pilot phase worked out. So that makes it a little safer investment of resources. And so this idea is already existing. And so this is the website for NQVL. As you can see, it's very new, so the deadlines are already in the future. And this is the pilot phase thing. And the pilot phase itself gets $1 million funding. So it's a generously funded pilot phase, and which can actually then enable the next stage a little bit better. So these are all very nice examples of initiatives that the United States already has, which I believe we could get inspired by as well in our own landscape, right? So now, my theme, as I said, is whole is more than the sum of parts. So I would like to take some examples of where this is already working. So I would like to start with this particular example, which is beyond just the Indo-US thing, as Sanjeev Varshni mentioned that, we're talking Indo-US, but we are actually looking at creating a global synergy in different domains, in this case, quantum. So this is already existing through certain organizations. So, what do we need for the promises of quantum computing? So we need international collaborations to accelerate R&D. We need inclusive development of quantum technology. So diverse cultures, mindsets, problem-solving skills from all geographies. So this is beyond just 2 countries. And then use it for good and humanity, right? Towards, the sustainable development goals of the United Nations. So already there is an organization which is doing this, which is the Open Quantum Institute. And the United States is a very, active member of this organization, and so is India. Okay, and so this has been formulated by the Geneva Science and Diplomacy Anticipator. So the idea of the Open Quantum Institute is essentially realizing the full potential of quantum for humanity. So foster the SDG applications of quantum computing, bring together quantum R&Ders, entrepreneurs, and innovation cells of UN organizations. So this is what we also want to do under our various Indo-US and beyond programs. Provide global and equitable access to a broad pool of private and public quantum computers through the cloud, educate, right? And then activate diplomacy to shape a multilateral governance of quantum for the SDGs. So this is, so we are already members. So I am a member of the governing board, for this incubation of the Geneva Science and Diplomacy Anticipator. So now I want to take a specific example of how, one of the verticals of quantum could be benefited from this sort of an approach, right? So we want to see an example where India and US can benefit from each other. So I take quantum computing as the first example. So IBM, as we know, IBM is headquartered in the US, and so they have the largest quantum computer on a cloud, right? And also, I'm sure we are aware that India is one of the largest users of this, cloud computing, as well as, the Qiskit platform and so on. So what does this imply? This implies that, we are training ourselves already on this IBM facility. So I'm taking IBM as an example, but there are other companies. So internship opportunities for students in the US. So now, this is something which is a natural outcome of this, but then some focused program, some programmatic, development needs to happen to enable this a bit better. Otherwise, it's very random, right? India is also a good market for US quantum companies, right? But then we don't want a one-way street, right? So, I mean, till now, whatever I have said in this slide is about how the US can benefit from India, because we are already very enthusiastic about using the resources. And, we are also potentially a good market, but we don't want a one-way street. So what about some know-how exchange to enable Indian quantum computers? We are going to have, quantum computing as a thrust area, one of the 4 thrust areas in the National Quantum Mission. We have, small qubit registers right now in the Indian scenario. And that's because we have only started, 3 years ago, as I mentioned. So now we are going on to the next level. So is it possible under this broad umbrella to actually have some know-how exchange so that we can ramp up our quantum computing, sort of the number of qubits in our quantum computers, and then put Indian quantum computers also on cloud? And then we can benefit from each other's cloud-based resources instead of it just being one way or the other, right? And so this is one example that could be very much benefited under such umbrella programs. The second example I would take, of course, is doing justice to why I'm speaking here today, which is going to be a personal example, which is on quantum at our own institute, and how we could benefit, and again give you a specific example of how synergies would between our organization here and the US would benefit for the greater good. So we have plethora of activities in all domains of quantum, and so having said that, this is our big vision, right? So we want a global quantum communication network. Now, if I'm talking about a global quantum communication network, just doing this within an Indian landscape doesn't make much sense, because global would involve other countries. And so we are already working on connecting different geographies using a satellite, and I assume a connect with the United States is a natural outcome of this. And then these various ground stations would be connected to different service providers who would use these secure keys for their security purposes. And so these service providers, as you can see from the symbols, they are varied and cover almost most services that require strategic communication. And we are working on satellite QKD, integrated photonics-based QKD, the entanglement distribution, which is a thrust area in the US perspective, where they are working on entanglement distribution, relays, and repeater technologies. So this is our project on the same, and random number generation as well, which is a key ingredient. And in our own landscape, we have achieved several global and local firsts. The first one I have to highlight because our results are better than the ones from NASA. So, I mean, so just because it's an India-US dialogue, so I have to highlight this little piece of triumph. But then, we have done many firsts of demonstrations which involve distances which are within our control. So within buildings, stationary source moving receivers, software development, again, we could benefit from each other's software developments, and allied technologies which would just enable quantum communications in the long distance scenario. So this is what we have been able to already achieve in our institutional framework, collaborating with Indian Space Research Organization. This is a slide from the Center for Quantum Networks now. So here we have Saikat, who is the director and who has kindly given me this slide. So you can see, the Center for Quantum Networks is also working on different key areas. But the ones where you have these arrows, okay, this I want to highlight. So this is on network architecture and resource allocation, network control, characterization, and management, then quantum repeaters with a thrust on the subsystem quantum memories, and then, of course, societal impacts. So we are doing our societal impact project with JESDA and CERN, and then we are working on different elements on long distance quantum communications, but we are not quite working at this network level architecture or focusing on the solid state quantum memories. Now, a synergy between, for instance, an example between Center for Quantum Networks and our center here is naturally going to benefit us mutually, because they are not working on these aspects of communication that we are doing, whereas we are not working on some of the aspects that they are working on. So together we obviously will achieve more than what we would achieve in silos. And so this is the slide, and you can see the synergy between the slides also. This is from CQN. Again, we have a quantum satellite distributing the keys. You have the quantum repeater. You have these various end users. Even symbols used are the same. So I mean, so there is a lot of synergy between the thought processes in different groups in the US and India. And these are specific examples of synergies that I've taken. But then the important message here is that both of us do have well-defined programs in quantum. Our national mission is younger because in its inception, because it is this year. But then, the National Quantum Initiative in the US is older, and so it can give us a lot of pointers on, and maybe some of the ideas which haven't worked also can be shared so that we can avoid them, right? It's not only to share success stories, but also things which have failed, which I did not find in the public domain or in discussing with my colleagues in the US. But then, this is also a good thing we can encourage to learn from each other's mistakes. And we can be encouraged by each other's best practices to develop India-specific strategies. And specific examples, for instance, in computing and communications, naturally would benefit from this larger area framework of Indo-US collaborations. And then, so I sincerely hope that in the time that I was given, Chaitali, which I think I've maintained, I had a stopwatch, I have been able to, communicate to a certain extent how these synergies could work out, what are specific examples we could be benefited by from each other. And as you may notice, my focus always would be on ensuring that we are not just benefiting one way, but then, it's mutual interactions, mutual, cross-fertilization of ideas. And so that is how we would also go on to developing the useful products, right? So with that, I would like to stop for now. Yeah.
Thank you, Urvashi. This was really, really heartwarming to know that, all the synergies do exist. Yes, it's a real kind of when we as funders, when we look into all this, we always see that there should be complementary strengths, and that has been very well reflected in your presentation. We also as funders have a takeaway, because the way you mapped the Indian scenario, the funding scenario with the US funding scenario, we also do have a couple of new ideas that you have given. Great, so thank you again. Now I'll move to my next speaker. The whole idea behind when we were kind of arranging the flow of the event, the idea was we should have one academician and we should have one somebody who is from the industry. IBM is a big name. Urvashi has already probed you also into it. So may I request Mr. Subramaniam to please kind of share his thoughts, his insights on the entire scenario here. And also we would request you to also speak a little bit about the importance of the trustworthy and explainable AI and all those relevant and important topics that should be taken into account while working with AI.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy that you invited me here to share my thoughts. Actually, so at least 5 people approached me on the fund, okay, to ask me their inputs. In fact, one of them even approached saying, can IBM be a partner in, I mean, there need to be 2 partners, right? So can IBM be one of the partners? So actually, I'm seeing a lot of excitement among the startups, even among the academia, because they see this as an opportunity to leverage, show their strengths and leverage the strengths of the other side. Okay, so I'm going to sort of dwell into some of these points, right? So if you look at the deep tech startup ecosystem, US and India are at the top, right, in terms of the, especially, deep technology areas, which includes AI, which includes, if you look at the right-hand side, this talks about some of the areas in which deep tech startups today are. Of course, when you say fintech, a lot of the fintech is also AI. When you say life sciences and healthcare, a lot of that is also AI. And now, of course, there are quantum startups also emerging, right? So what you see is, this is two ecosystems which have a very strong bias towards startups, where you have a lot of young people already looking at startups. And this fund is exciting because it's bringing together these two ecosystems to work together. And as Urvashi pointed out, there are many strengths in both these ecosystems. And for any collaborator, this is a very good opportunity to leverage the strengths of the other side. This is another chart, the number of software developers by country. Again, you see India, US at the top, right? And India is going to overtake China in the next 1 or 2 years as the #1 software developer country in the world, right? This one on the right-hand side is top-tier AI researcher origin. Okay, so this again shows that, both India and US have very large number of researchers working in the AI field. And I didn't put the quantum one, but quantum is very similar. Okay, so in fact, in quantum, we have more researchers, more developers than for AI, in fact. Okay, so as Urvashi pointed out, the number of users from India is, huge. It's one of the highest in the world of the IBM quantum computers. So what we have is, this fund is basically bringing together two of the largest and most diverse tech talent pools globally. Okay, so which is very exciting. Okay, which is why, when I started, I talked about people reaching out to me, and I'm not even directly, connected with this. So I'm sure you're getting even more queries than I am, right? And that shows, how much people want to be part of this. Of course, there are challenges they're facing, which I'll, dwell on, and maybe somebody will ask a question on that. So there is also significant synergy, and many speakers, before me, Urvashi pointed this out. India is especially high on talent. There is a huge cost advantage to be had. There is huge data here in India, okay? And the number of applications, we are seeing that in fintech today. Fintech, after the, the finance stack that was built, the UPI and all those, Aadhaar, suddenly, the fintech ecosystem in India got a huge boost, right? And it has, the innovation there is immense, whether it is bottom of the pyramid, you're talking about the unbanked, you're talking about loans for people without credit history, like the Thelawala, the Sabziwala, and all those people. There are a huge number of startups now working in that area using deep technology to do it. Okay. The US, on the other hand, has other advantages, like there is easy access to VCs. They have a very mature innovation hub, whether it is in Silicon Valley or any of the others that have come up after that. Huge number of innovation hubs where not only do they have small startups, but they have an ecosystem of mentors. They have industry which wants to work with these startups. They have academia. So all of that, is something that we need to learn from and do. But as I said, there are other strengths which we have. And there is a market there which is already mature for many of these technologies and the global connections which the US has built. And I think the excitement is because, you're bringing together sort of two complementary, set of strengths here, which excites, for example, a startup in India and a startup in the US to come together, right? And I think that's what this fund is doing. I think it's a great start, and I'm sure it'll be validated by the applications that you are going to be getting, hopefully. So now getting into, some of the things where AI, because we also want to see where are all these startups working and in what kind of commercialization are we talking about? Because this fund is really focused, as you said, on commercializing the joint work that the two teams do, right? So AI today is used in many high-stakes decision-making applications, okay? It is used in credit, it's used in employment. Today, companies get hundreds of applications. How do they select? They run them through a program, and the program selects who is going to be a good employee for my company. Is not selected by humans, but it is selected by a program. The final interviewing is done by humans, but the initial shortlisting is done by bots or AI. Whether it's admission, whether it is sentencing. In fact, there was this very interesting case in the US, 2023. A lawyer in a case, said, I'm going to, when he prepared his case in front of the judge, he went to ChatGPT and said, okay, I'm going to, give me past historical cases which are similar. And he quoted 5 historical cases. And guess what? Those 5 were made up by ChatGPT. ChatGPT made up those 5 historical cases. It did it in a very convincing way, of course. So the experienced lawyer believed it. When he took it in front of the judge figured out that these are not real cases, and the lawyer was fined. Okay, so decision-making is moving to AI, but we need to figure out ways in which we can trust that AI, right? So that's very important. And I think some of the things that, what constitutes trust in AI? Of course, you want the AI system to be accurate, but there are other things. You want the AI system to be explainable. You want the AI system to be fair. You want it to be robust. You want many things to be part of the AI system before it can be used in the decision making, whether it's in credit, whether it's in employment, because we have all heard stories of, biases that have crept in, for example, in this automated resume processing. For example, in tech fields, these AI systems, initially what they did was they had a bias against female candidates because they thought it's, because today there are mostly male employees working in the, technology areas. So the AI learned that male equals technology. And those sort of biases crept into these systems. And I think through this fund, many of the exciting things that, startups and people that can work on are some of these specific things about strengthening the decision-making, increasing the trust in the AI systems. And and these are some of the exciting things that can happen. And these are very, examples of where you want AI systems to be explainable. Today, they are not explainable. So I talked about, giving loans to bottom of the pyramid in India. What happens is many of these are biased. They have a bias against certain castes. They have a bias against people of certain religion. And it's all because of the data, right? So if we are building, AI systems using such data, we have to be very careful that because these AI systems are going to be decision makers without a human in the loop, it is important that many of these AI systems are not biased. They're able to explain that, I didn't give you this loan because you did A, B, C, D, E, so that the person who didn't get the loan knows why he or she did not get that loan. And today, AI systems are mostly black boxes. They're not explainable. Fairness. So again, I gave you an example of resume processing where there was a bias, at least against female candidates. There have been many other cases where bias has been there against certain races, against certain people. And this is, we're all in this generative AI today. We all use ChatGPT and others. Here, this was a question posed to one of these generative AI systems. Can you give a picture of the world's most popular elected political leaders? And if you see, they're all Western leaders. Modi is missing, the most from the largest democracy in the world. The second one here, the question here was Narendra Modi, Rahul Gandhi, and Arvind Kejriwal. Can you, create a picture of them having a meeting together and discussing public policy? So if you look at this generative AI system, it got Modi right, but Rahul Gandhi and Arvind Kejriwal are not, it has just made them up. It doesn't know who they are. And this is because, the AI systems today have a Western bias, okay? And through a program like this, where you're bringing together India and US, you can address some of these things, which is important not just for the US or for India. It is very important for the world, because as somebody's, mentioned, in the beginning, we are, through this program, you're really building technology, not just for India and the US, but for the world, because I showed you that, the ecosystems in these two countries are where the talent is. This is where all the technology is getting built. So this technology which is built is not just for India or the US, it's for the world. So in fact, through this fund, I think we're addressing some very important challenges in technology, which, people can go forward and use. So I'll just, give you another example. This is adversarial robustness. AI systems can be cheated. You can poison the training data. You can fool AI systems very easily by creating noise. Or, for example, here you just put a specs on this person and the accuracy of the system goes down. So a lot of these AI systems are also susceptible to attacks, right? So these are some of the very pertinent areas where I think, through this collaboration, people can address. And the other is, how do you prove that a system is transparent? It is enabling governance. So people have brought in ideas from other domains. So for example, when you buy anything, you buy food, it has nutrition facts. You buy an electronic equipment for your home, it has an Energy Star to tell you, how good that is. Similarly, people have proposed in the AI area to have these kind of fact sheets for the AI system that you have built. Okay, so I think these are some of the very interesting and good, thoughts that people can have. And then finally, I think it's important to understand. It's excellent that, you know, you've brought together AI and quantum here, because that's the future. The future of computing will be led by these startups and companies which are going to bring together bits, neurons, and qubits. Bits and neurons are already working together today in many of the applications. But as Urvashi pointed out, qubits are also getting into this mix as we build, you know, these intelligent applications, intelligent automation, trusted models, all of that through a hybrid cloud infrastructure. So I'll stop there. I think in conclusion, you know, the diversity of talents accelerate this transformative technology development. I think this is an excellent opportunity created by this fund, where you've brought together, you know, two very booming, you know, ecosystems. You've brought them together and put them together. I heard some, you know, challenges people are facing when they come together. How do they decide on the IP? How do they find a good partner? But I think those are all things you will sort out. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Venkatesh. This was very, very informative. We are also equally hopeful that we get some good proposals which are actually going to address these issues. So without wasting any further time, I'll request my colleague, Dr. Babulal, to quickly run this proposal. This is something that he's going to kind of, you know, elaborate on the eligibility criteria and everything in and around the proposal. Babulal, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good evening and good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the webinar on critical and emerging technology, quantum technology, and artificial intelligence for transforming lives. We have a very good participation from academics and industry, along with the federal representation in the participants. I would like to welcome each and every one of you for your participation in the webinar. I will provide an overview of United States India Science and Technology Endowment Fund and details about the call for the proposal. So let's take a moment to delve into the origins and purpose of the initiative United States India Science and Technology Endowment Fund, which holds significance in the realm of science and technology. Iusstf is a flagship program of Iusstf that supports joint innovation and commercialization for societal impact. The government of United States of America, through the Department of State, and India, through the Department of Science and Technology, were established in 2009 to strengthen and expand Indo-US science and technology cooperation. It's noteworthy that the US-India Science and Technology Endowment Fund activities are implemented and administered through Indo-US Science and Technology Forum. United States India Science and Technology Endowment Fund, there is a unique position in startup ecosystem. One of the most distinctive aspects of the endowment fund is its unique positioning with the startup ecosystem. Our unique position within the startup ecosystem is a testament to the power of the collaboration, innovation. We have supported joint US-India projects that are synergistic, leverage expertise, capabilities from both sides, demonstrate a high degree of innovation, leveraging advance in science and technology. We have supported entrepreneurs entity at the critical phase in their life cycle. Iusstf have supported 64 joint US-India entrepreneurial projects through regular call and 2 special call. Under regular call, we have supported 43 number projects, and under special call, we have supported 21 numbers. Several projects currently have reached in the market, and other projects are under various stage of the implementation. I am sharing a brief insight of the Iusstf supported projects. These projects stand a testament to the power of collaboration, innovation, and the transformative impact of science and technology. We see now these projects are not just about the science and technology, they're about the people. They bring together researchers and entrepreneurs who are driven by a shared purpose. As you recall, on June 22nd this year, the leader of the world, two largest democracy, India and United States, met to strengthen and deepen their long-standing strategic partnership and launched a grant program under the US-India Science and Technology Endowment Fund for the joint development and commercialization of artificial intelligence and quantum technology. As a call to action, in pursuance of the announcement, Iusstf, with the guidance of the DST and US Embassy, has announced a call for the proposals on 12 July 23 with an application submission deadline on 31st August 23. If you are talking about the critical and emerging technology, so the aim of this call is to strengthen, link, and enhance technology cooperation between the innovation ecosystems of both nations. These programs align with the goal of US-India Initiative on Critical and Emerging Technology. This new initiative is for the fostering innovation, advancing research, and addressing complex challenges in the focus area of quantum technology and artificial intelligence. The projects would cover supported in two thematic areas. First is quantum technology and second is artificial intelligence. If you are talking about the quantum technology, the proposal could be a specific area or a combination of subcategories that fall broadly under quantum technology, quantum computing, quantum communication, quantum sensing and metrology, quantum imaging, quantum algorithm, quantum cryptography, or quantum simulation. Or the applicant can combine of different subcategory and submit an application. The joint proposal focus on innovation pertinent to the scaling up and application of emerging quantum technology. The aim is support projects team having proof of concept through technology development and commercialization. If you are talking about the artificial intelligence, the artificial intelligence proposal could be trustworthy and explainable AI system and technology solutions that are fair, transparent, safe, and have the potential to transform every walk of life. Focus area may include healthcare, agriculture, cybersecurity, education, financial and banking, transport, water resource management, or earth science. The proposal should be commercially viable and socially relevant. If you are talking about the objective of this program under the set, so we are looking to support initiatives that address the theme of commercializing technology for societal impact. The proposal should be commercially viable and socially relevant. The binational team of entrepreneurs and innovations with innovative products or technology that are beyond their ideation stage and have a high societal impact may submit a proposal. Breakthrough technology that addresses critical societal challenge, technology having higher commercialization potential or technology readiness level. If you're speaking about the eligibility criteria, then the proposal must have at least one Indian partner and one US partner for the complete duration of the project. The applicant should keep in mind that partners from both sides must have significant and synergistic role in the development and commercialization of the technology for the specific application described in the proposal. The team may include incorporated company, startups, non-incorporated entity, or academic, governmental, non-governmental research institutions, or other consortia. Overall, there must be at least one of the partner and entrepreneur entity, so the team may formulate formulate a combination like industry from either a side or the academician either a side or the combination of them. The subsidiary or spin-off of one partner in another country are not eligible to apply under this call.
Babulal, can we please go a little faster?
Your mind.
Most of the
So
information is given
there
in the
is some
report.
additional requirements
Yes.
under this call. When you are submitting the application, there is a requirement of the NOC, and the NOC would be provided by their respective institutions. If they are submitting application, they can take, the principal investigator can take NOC from their institution and submit at the time of the application. There is a need of partnership agreement and US Iusstf term and condition. When the application will be shortlisted for further review, we will ask the team to provide this additional document. The term and condition document is already available with the website, and the partnership agreement is decided mutually by the team. If you are talking about the funding and award, then we are supporting a grant in ad support 1 crore or INR 10 million, approximately USD 1,22,000 for a duration of 22 months. Here is where the notable point is endowment fund is an Indian rupees fund, and all grants are awarded in the Indian rupees only. For the US awardee, the grant is transferred after converting it to the USD at the prevailing exchange rate. Grant. So now we are coming to budget tables. The team that is already available in the application portal. Here I am providing a brief about the Indian partner and US partner budget details. So the team may submit their budget in the prescribed format available on the portal. There is a budget head allocated under that portal, like the equipment, manpower, consumers, contingency, travel, and other costs. The notable point here is the applicant should mention their manpower cost reasonable with respect to the overall project cost. And we are not providing any institutional overhead or indirect cost under this grant. So if you're talking about the review process and timeline, so we have announced the call in 12 July and the deadline is 31st August. And the whole process will be wrapped up by 5 to 6 months. After submission of the process, that will be reviewed by the joint technical experts. And we will invite the team for a short presentation. After the presentation, the selected applicants will submit the financial documents, and the endowment board would take the final decision for the award. And the whole decision will be taken up to 5 to 6 months. One of the question, one of the experts has mentioned how we have find a partner. So we have, Iusstf has facilitated a find a partner portal under which the applicant can go and add their information, what area they are looking, and provide a brief description about their work. That portal is linked to our application submission portal. So if any other applicant are looking a partner, he or she may visit on that portal and find a partner as per their requirement. If they can send a mail each other and coordinate with each other and submit an application. Submission deadline is 31st August 2023. If you have any question regarding the submission process, review process, or if you are facing any problem, you may write to us endowment@iusstf.org. We will be happy to answer any queries. Thank you,
Dr. Babulal. Thank you. Thank you. I really understand we don't have much time. We just have 2 to 3 minutes. So Divya, can we quickly look out any vital questions that we have? Maybe we can first ask the experts.
Yes, I'll take up the questions first for the experts. So Professor Sinha, I'm going to direct this one to you. Can you please tell us about any possibility of chip level implementation in quantum processor? If so, is there any funding chances from funding organizations such as ISRO or DRDO?
Well, the latter part of the question, of course, I cannot answer because, I don't represent these organizations. But the former part, superconducting processors are actually, chips, right? So they are these are actually nanotechnology based chips where you have the Josephson junctions, which are embedded on some, semiconductor substrate. So these are actually chip level processors anyway. So, and they are one of the forerunners for quantum computing, for instance. Even in quantum key distribution, we have chip-based QKD. So integrated photonics is what we would use for that purpose. Similarly, we have integrated photonics-based quantum computing as well. So there are chip-level processors for computing and communications, for sure. But the latter one, they should write to the representatives of ISRO and DRDO.
Yeah. Thank you, Professor Sinha. Mr. Subramaniam, the next question is for you. As the question goes, what is the potential available for quantum technologies and AI in renewable energy domain like wind and solar? What is the potential for quantum and AI in RE domains like wind and solar? Mr. Subramaniam, would you like to unmute and answer the question?
Yeah, sure. Actually, there is a lot of potential for that. In both AI and quantum have a role to play, whether it's in the optimization or machine learning aspects of wind and solar. So there are many things that one could do here. So I think if they come with an idea where the partners agree, I think there is scope for doing a lot.
Can I add to that answer, Divya, regarding the quantum part?
Thank you.
For instance, if we are talking about renewable energy, one of the most interesting problems is how to design better carbon capture material, for instance. So, quantum computers, they are excellent in simulating new materials. And so quantum simulations is one of the bedrocks of quantum computing. And so if you can develop and design better carbon capture materials, then in the next stage, the materials community can get together and build those, then we can actually absorb carbon directly from the atmosphere. And that is a way towards, having a greener planet and so on. So there is a lot of such applications happening in the quantum sector towards, having a greener planet.
Yeah. Thank you. Next
Divya, I'll just ask one question. Maybe our Indian co-chair will be able to answer this.
Yeah.
It's about the Iusstf thing, and though even I can, but I love Dr. Vash to answer this. He generally will do justice to this. There's one other question which says, how mature must the industry partner be? Is the acceptability to have a company that is being developed as a spin-off but not yet incorporated?
No, I think that would be a little difficult, because if you are not incorporated so far, that's a little challenge. I wish at least as a startup they are registered, and if that much is there, then it is fine to go ahead.
There's another very humble question that the fund size is very humble. This is something that we are also constantly getting, sir. So would you like to?
Well, I think my co-chair is also listening. We are requesting both government to increase the size, but given, you see, researchers' demand is going to grow with time, and we cannot satisfy everyone. We have a limited purse, and within that, whatever best we can do, and we are left with two choices: either to reduce number of grants, or to apportion and help them in facilitating their dreams with whatever we have got. So, of course, both governments are considering to increase the pot size, but until it is done, you have to manage within this available pot.
Thank you very much, sir. I think with this, we are already exceeded 2 to 3 minutes. I assure all my participants that we're going to individually write back to all the questions that you have put in the chat box. Otherwise, also, please feel free to reach out to us. We have that dedicated email ID. I assure you, we are going to promise, we're going to write back to each of you. I would like to thank each and every speaker who is here. This was indeed a very, very insightful talk from each one of you. Enjoyed every bit of it. But again, in the interest of time, I would like to say thank you to all of you. And if possible, we'll be doing more such webinars in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye. Mahesi, can we stop this?
Mahesh,
Should I end the webinar?
Yes, yes, please.